So I said I was going to talk a bit more about corruption. I want to talk about Eurovision because it's been weeks now, and that doesn't mean I've stopped thinking about it. I've been thinking about it the whole time, and it's it's great. It's the social drama. It's a meeting place for a couple 100 million people to watch it, and lots of talking points. It's not political, but of course everything is political, and so there's a lot of things to emerge. And the main one to emerge from this Eurovision for me was I'm done with the way Israel is part of the competition. I hate to say that because I'm a broad tent type of person. I'm very liberal in my appetite for inclusion, including people that I don't like, people I disagree with, people who are doing things I don't agree with. Obviously, there's an extreme. I'm not saying put the IDF in the Eurovision Song Competition, but that's kind of what it's become. It's not the case of, oh, these are artists who happen to be from this country that are coming along. No, they very much seem to be cynically machinations to represent the state and to buy some soft power. And what's worse, as if that's not bad enough, which it is that there's the clear orchestrated campaign, probably driven by the state, almost certainly, to put the thumb on the scale very hard and rig the competition in terms of a favorable result for Israel. If you don't know, they won the popular vote with a song that I can't even remember. And I listened to them all a bunch. It was, yeah, there's so many things I could say about it, but it's the standout thing from this year's Eurovision, which is a shame because it tarnishes everybody else's efforts, etc., etc. Yeah, they will have to do something about it going forward because there are just so many instances of concern from the participating countries, not just for the obvious reason of okay, they're waging a war on the civilians of Gaza and other places, and have occupied part of Syria and attacking Lebanon, etc., etc. So I'm trying to separate my geostrategic analysis from a song competition, which is, I mean, crazy that's a hard thing to do. But yes, it's some of the broadcasters are so concerned about their nations giving the most votes to Israel. They think it's so discordant with what they expect from their cultural experience there that they're asking for the data on it. I mean, Spain's even threatened to withdraw. I think the Netherlands have as well. They're already pissed off because of Joost. Yeah, so that's something that they're going to have to change and hopefully do a good job of. It's hard to see given that they're sort of poor form in managing social conflicts like this to date. Yeah, hopefully they can sort it out. And we can get back to talking about the things that are more fun and exciting, like the songs that were in it. Gojo didn't qualify, our Australian guy, a milkshake man. Which was surprising. I was really surprised. I thought he was bringing something distinct and energetic and would have been at home amongst the finalists there. It wasn't my favorite song because I felt like it could have done with another element. And Gojo himself seems like a total sweetie. And it's kind of there, but it's such a hyper sexualized performance and concept that it doesn't really give enough windows for the vulnerability of what I imagine would be Gojo at his best. Just my opinion. This is all just my opinion. But I thought he did absolutely a good enough job to get through, and was a shame that he didn't. And sad for Australia, because I think the last couple of years we've diverged from just having sort of classic pop stars, even though they've been great. Damien in particular, I think, has been our best entry. But we're sending Voyager and Electric Fields and now Gojo, sort of stretching the fabric to be a bit more in the risk domain. And I hope that this failure the last couple of years to qualify doesn't change that, because I don't think going more conservative and being back to pop stars with ballads means that we'll get a better result or better represent ourselves on the world stage. The ones that I loved, my favorite one, I think, is Albania. I loved it. Go away and watch it. I can't share it in this podcast because I'll get nuked by the algorithm or whatever, but Albania was so good. Just a great example of something that's artistically ambitious, distinct in its style and aesthetic, and well executed by a very talented performer. Two talented performers, but one does most of the singing, and she's just amazing. And dancing. And it was cool. It was really cool. A coherent idea, begin to end. Yeah, I like it the more and more that I consume it. I love France as well. The woman singing about her mother. I didn't care for it at first because I don't speak French, so I didn't really get the meaning. But she's in the hourglass, the sand's coming down. She's having this relationship to her mother that she lost a decade ago, and was initially, she was quite off the rails about it, and felt broken and lost. And now she's a mother herself. And the last word of the song is her daughter singing the word "mama," and it's It's great. Yeah, 100 points from me. It didn't do that well. It did really well in the judiciary voting, I think, and not well in the public voting. And Albania was the opposite. They did pretty ordinarily in the judiciary voting and great in the public voting. But the winner, the Austrian one, I haven't even talked about it yet. It was fine. I just don't care about it, so I don't really have much to say. It was too much for me. The thing that I learned from Eurovision year after year is kind of one of those artistic lessons I'll just give to you for free because you're listening, that authenticity is irreplaceable for me. And that doesn't mean you have to be like, here's my truest, most somber, saddest, greatest fears, whatever. Here's my soul bare. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that, like, whatever, if you've got a bit of a playful kernel about you, and you keep that kernel at the center and build around it, and don't worry about the gravities of other things like, oh, how's this going to look, or is this good enough for what other people are doing, or is this a Eurovision, like all that sort of stuff. The less you let that gravity in, and the more you feed upon the kernel, or feed the kernel so it grows. Don't worry about the metaphor. The better your thing will be. And I think that's like, you can see that, Tommy Cash, he can't even really sing. And he did a really silly performance that, if on paper you were to tell someone that you were going to do it, they would say, don't do it. I mean, if you haven't watched it, he's an Estonian guy, and he sings in English, kind of being a mocking version of an Italian singing about coffee, and, with the hand gestures as part of the dances and stuff. And it's really cool. I initially didn't like it because I have a natural aversion to smart asses because I am one. So it takes me a while to warm to them. But no, he did a really great job. He came third. He would have won the popular vote had Israel not won the popular vote. Won the popular vote. So well done to him. I could talk about it all day. Do you want to hear more of it? I can't hear your answer, so I'm going to assume yes. Latvia, I thought were amazing. That's the group of women singing in Latvian. Hard to go wrong. So good. I mean, sorry, that would have been easy to go wrong. It was a really hard performance and hard song, and they nailed it. It was just awesome. I love that. The Albanian song was also in Albanian. Swedish song in Swedish for the first time since the 90s this year. Finnish song in German and Finnish, I think. I should stop listing them because I think there were 20 plus that were in non-English, which is great. Italian entry I loved. He got subtitles. Again, not the type of thing you would think would be a Eurovision song. It's just a sort of genre-wise, middle-of-the-road rock stuff, pop rock. But he's really sweet, and it was obviously reflecting something true of him, and it resonated. I think it came top 5 and deserved to. It was awesome. Yes. So, final thought on Eurovision. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about the corruption. There's always this conversation about, Cyprus and Greece vote for each other, and San Marino and Italy vote for each other, and, Montenegro vote for Serbia, whatever. And it's always funny because it's talked about like an eye-rolling corruption, sort of the further east and south you go in Europe. But exactly the same thing happens with all the Scandinavian countries voting for each other every year, and there's no comment at all. And I think there possibly shouldn't be in any direction because, like, if you live in Norway, of course you're going to be, more attracted to and engaged with a song that's in Swedish. One, because you could probably understand the language, but two, it's going to be, it's from the same or similar music tradition and cultural space and society. So of course it's going to be more resonant than something that's coming from Azerbaijan or whatever. And vice versa. A lot of people have been critical of Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia for not doing well, which I think is totally unfair because they're far away. Like, it would be odd. I mean, it would be surprising if an Azeri pop star was the number one resonant thing for Germans, French, and British people in a year. Just my opinion. I just think like this stuff, it's not, it's easy to say. It's not about who wins. Obviously, it is about doing well, but like, it's just cool to get everyone under the one tent, which brings us to the other issue. And I've actually written a piece about this at my Substack, chrisendry.substack.com. I'm not sure, something like that. I'll link in the description. Where it's, for me, as someone who lives in Hungary, is devastating that Hungary is not in it, especially because I am a Hungarian, so I could enter if Hungary were in it. They might come back, but it's not really clear why they're not in it. Like, they haven't publicly said anything. There's an intimation that it's because it's expensive, which is an issue. There are a lot of countries from Central and Eastern Europe that are no longer involved, and Southern Europe that are no longer involved in the competition because it's expensive to be a participant, especially if you want to be competitive in your act and have pyrotechnics or whatever. Like, that stuff costs a lot of money. But also, it's clearly the case that there are countries that are not involved now because of the inclusivity of Eurovision, particularly for gender and sexuality inclusivity, which stinks. It sucks so bad. It's such a loss. Like, I think that they need to figure out how to have the conversation to bring everybody back into the fold, because, and that doesn't, I don't think that means like coming to compromises on like, sorry, I know that doesn't mean coming to compromises on inclusivity and representation and all those matters, but they do need to find a way to bring everyone, because the whole point of the competition in the first place was to have a cultural glue to hold together Europe after World War II. And I think just as much as we will be alarmed if Spain, the Netherlands, and Ireland and whoever else pull out because of concerns around Israel's participation and the nature of it, it sucks just as much to silently not have Hungary, Turkey, Slovakia, Romania, whoever else, for reasons of, these places are just culturally less liberal at the moment. I don't think having a narrower arena is a win for anybody, and I hope that they can sort it out. Most selfishly, I hope they can sort it out so that I can come in and win Eurovision for Hungary in 2027 with my act, It's Big Gay Trans Time. The name needs work. Also, I'm possibly not the best person to do that act. But I'm probably not the best person to do any act, and I still like to do it, so it's good to sing. That's the other thing I should talk about, because I followed Eurovision so closely this year because I was a part of it in a small way. I was in the San Marino, Una Voce per San Marino, made it to semi-finals, episode 3 or 4 of this podcast. I talked to my Eurobaddies teammates, Tina and Nelly. So listen to that if you haven't already. They're super sweet, and it's an interesting journey that we went on. But then we lost ultimately. Well, we lost ultimately because we didn't do a good show, but we didn't have time to prepare, etc. We were surprised to be there. But I thought we had a good song. And the song that represented San Marino this year did make the final. It came dead last. It was the guy from Eiffel 65. Blue da ba dee da ba da da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. I won't sing the whole song, copyright reasons again. Yes, he was there. Tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia. It was fine. It wasn't the worst. I don't think it deserved to come last, but it wasn't. Was it better than what we would have done? No, we were sheep. Can't beat sheep. Animal laws. Yeah. So, just a side note, don't worry, I'm going to try and get back next year. I've got multiple artists I'm really excited to be working with to put stuff out there for, and hopefully I can throw my own hat in the ring one way or another as well. I mean, I was at a songwriting camp last year with the artist that ultimately represented Ireland, and she's from Norway. So there's lots of different avenues, and hopefully I can find one and get back into the arena myself, so that my opinions aren't just reserved for ear bashing you, my sweet podcast audience.